Today, the biggest basketball movie since Space Jam gets its own video game, and it's also Space Jam. This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint, where you ever just say things?
Like, just let stuff come out of your mouth, but you're not sure why you're talking?
Yeah, you get it.
Oh yeah, and then I write those things down and I turn them into news stories.
I'm glad we have a similar approach. Join us, fellow gamers, on a tour of the weird corporate future we are inhabiting. Some time back, Xbox and Warner Brothers put out a call for submissions of ideas for how a new Space Jam game could look, based on the upcoming new Space Jam movie starring LeBron James. A reminder that design contests are how a big company that employs designers can get free publicity by also getting free labor. But what happens when all the submissions you receive don't align with the plans you already had? Well, you then combine two ideas. We don't know how far down the list of suggestions Xbox had to scroll before they found one that wasn't a basketball game, like what you'd usually make for a basketball movie. But in their blog post, Xbox says, quote, "To create the final game, we blended the ideas of two gamers, our youth competition winner, Narayan, from India, and our adult competition winner, Ricky, from the United States. Xbox and Warner Brothers were energized by Ricky's idea of a classic beat-em-up blended with game mechanics that Narayan had suggested." No indication of what those game mechanics are, and the trailer just looks like an old-school beat-em-up, but you can buy 3 new Xbox controllers for $70 apiece. Anyhow, because it's one of those corporate design contests, the two winners, everyone who entered, had to sign over all rights for their ideas and concept art to Xbox and Warner Brothers. But the winners each got a prize pack with an estimated retail value of $2,600 US, including a signed Xbox, a movie screening for you and 19 friends, and your name in the credits. But the real prize was how much marketing and promotional value you created for Xbox and Warner Brothers. For free! Hell, I'm doing it too! We can't win!
Metroid Dread has people so excited for Metroid that they're going anywhere they can for their Metroid fix. For your convenience, I've compiled several of your options. You could go to eBay and drop almost $100 for an authentic USA copy of Metroid Fusion for Game Boy Advance, or $20 for a blurry cart shipped from China. You can trawl your local used game stores for a copy of Metroid Zero Mission until you remember that GameStop purged all of their GBA stuff years ago. You might sign into Nintendo Switch Online and play Metroid for NES or Super Metroid for SNES for that Metroid on the go feel you can get anywhere you have internet access. Or why not just sign into the Nintendo eShop and buy a copy of Fusion or Zero Mission? Not surprisingly, a ton of people have opted for the latter, propelling Metroid titles into the bestsellers list. Oh, I forgot to mention, that's not the Switch eShop, that's the Wii U eShop. Yes, Metroid Fusion, Metroid Zero Mission, and Metroid Prime Trilogy are all topping the charts on the Wii U eShop, which means it's time to dig out your old Wii U. Oh, I'm sorry, you didn't buy one? Because there weren't any games on it? Because it's a bad and dead console that no one ever wanted? My goodness, you must be feeling awfully foolish now, but that's none of my business.
Now that Sonic's 30th anniversary is in full swing, we're learning about more cross-promotional celebrations for our speedy friend who's weird to be with. Beyond, of course, Sonic's iconic team-up with Bongo the Danimal's yogurt monkey. Oh, and those solid gold necklaces are finally out, and they're $185. Anyway, we're in the weird hell timeline where Nintendo is celebrating Sonic's 30th by having a special event in Smash Bros. Ultimate where you can earn extra gold. So it's nothing major, but it's weird that it's anything. Speaking of weird, we've been doing comedy gaming news coverage for almost 12 years, so I've seen some upsetting fan art of Sonic over that time, but even version 1 movie Sonic isn't quite as uncanny as Minecraft Sonic. Officially made by Mojang, officially DLC for Minecraft. What can I say? I don't like him. Players will be able to join a special server to neither mine nor craft, but instead speed around a blocky recreation of Green Hill Zone, collecting square rings, and you can also explore a room filled with Sonic memorabilia. That said, if you're such a Sonic fan that this is for you, you probably already have a room of Sonic memorabilia that you play Minecraft in.
In a shocking twist, Steam is getting a little tired of everyone gaming. Their system, that is. Steam recently changed their regional pricing system to restrict users from changing their country of origin, limiting it to once every 3 months. Steam explained that the feature is designed to keep people from buying the same game from a different region in order to pay a lower price. Now, the touted benefit of regional pricing is so that developers can price their wares lower for regions where, say, $60 translated into local currency, such as, say it with me, 511 Norwegian kroner, is an exorbitant sum for Norwegians to pay for a video game, and therefore games available in Norway should get priced for less kroner, and everyone gets to enjoy the game at a price they can afford. And yet, as a Canadian, I can say that in practice, regional pricing can eat my shit and hair. The common practice is to price the value of a US good at its absolute worst exchange rate from US dollars into proper dollars. So a game that should be priced at $73 based on the current 22% exchange rate is instead priced at $80 or higher because we once had an exchange rate of 35% back in March 2020 and everyone's assholes seized up. So, what's my bright idea to fix this inequity? I can't, at least not by myself. I want developers to make a ton of money so that when they make a good thing, they can afford to keep making a good thing and not starve on the streets. But I also want people to be able to afford the good thing, regardless of what region of the world they live in, or even if their income is completely inequitable to the incomes of everyone else who lives around them. You want to keep politics out of video games? Tough shit. Making video games is politics, playing video games is politics, and buying video games is definitely politics.
Pokemon Go developer Niantic is switching up some of the features it tweaked or added in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic to encourage players to return outside, as many places are starting to see a light at the end of the tunnel. For example, incense, an item that attracts more Pokemon encounters, is being tweaked so that it's more effective while you're moving, but it also is returning to its pre-COVID functionality of doing nothing while you're motionless, inside, just doing your best. Further, your Pokemon buddy will bring you fewer gifts, and most notably, the distance for raids and Pokestops is being reset to their pre-COVID setting of right beside it. So no more distance farming from your couch while you work up the energy to do things like eat or take a nap. Besides the obvious feel-bads of these changes, making the game more difficult and less rewarding to play, are the changes a good sign? Is this like the FEMA Waffle House Index, but for pandemic recovery? Forget the World Health Organization guidelines. Can we gauge our return to normalcy based on what Niantic says we're allowed to do in Pokemon Go? I mean, I wouldn't, because they're rolling it out first in New Zealand and the US, and those countries are not in the same state of recovery. USA, I get that you were faster off the mark in getting vaccines available than we were in Canada, but you've still got large areas with larger problems. We've all got our Manitobas, don't we? I hasten to remind you also that Niantic enjoyed Pokemon Go's most profitable year ever in 2020. So this really feels like a case of fixing what ain't broke, and maybe just pump the brakes, Niantic. Even some of us who are vaccinated still aren't mentally up to things like interactions and outside.
Do you even play Pogo anymore?
No. Weirdly, it was one of the many things I stopped doing at the start of this whole mess.
Are your Pokemon, hungry or something?
I don't know. I haven't even fed my Tamagotchi in decades. You think I care?
Oh my god!
Sorry, Tamagotchi.
Thank you. Coming up, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy game will offer a streaming mode to disable all licensed music so streamers don't get DMCA strikes. So look forward to having climactic battles to royalty-free sound-alikes like The Final Count Up and I love Rocky Road. Wait, shit, that's a Weird Al song. Sorry for the weird redo here, Heather.
It's largely my fault. But the real prize was how much marketing and promotional value. Fart. Dang it.
All right.
There we go.
I think we can get there.
We're good.
Oh, 1 second.
Oh, God. Shouldn't have done that.
Sausage roll? Do you suck at a filling?
Huh?
Do you suck a golf ball through a garden hose? What?
To clarify,
Yeah.
Metroid Fusion
Fusion.
and Zero Mission in the Prime Trilogy are
Yeah.
only available on the eShop, and this is all emulation. They're only available on the eShop on the Wii U.
Yeah, the Wii U Virtual Console, I believe, for GBA games, I think is where you buy them, and the Wii U eShop is where you buy Metroid Prime Trilogy.
That's so weird.
It doesn't make any sense to me either. I would have thought that for sure they would have been like, maybe we should try to make these available on the Switch eShop. But
You ever just forget about an entire console generation?
yeah.
Because I frequently forget that the Wii U was a thing. I have one in my house, and I frequently forget that the Wii U was a thing. And Nintendo themselves have admitted how badly they bungled that.
Yeah.
Right.
They did not launch that well or communicate it well and all those things. And it still bugs me when there are people who, I had a whole thing with Heather about this the other night where it was like people who are like, it was a bad and a dead console. And I'm like, you can't call, what is your criteria for calling a console bad?
Oh, it wasn't bad.
That's the
it
thing,
was just,
right?
It was just marketed terribly. So
Yeah.
that most people, like a majority, you, the viewer at home, are probably not among the group that I'm about to say, but the majority of people didn't realize that it was a different thing.
Yeah.
They thought it was like PS4 and PS4 Pro, right? It's the Wii and the Wii U. It was like a bonus thing for the Wii. Or some people thought that the little like handheld thing was just an accessory
Yeah.
to your existing Wii, right? Because the Wii, everyone had a Wii. The Wii was like a sales barnstormer.
Yeah.
And it was like, now the Wii U. And it's just like, oh, it's a thing that I can use on my Wii, I assume.
Yeah.
And yeah, they should have they should have called it something else for a start.
It's weird to me to hear that because to me it's like to me it was like it was so obvious it was a new console from the way they launched it.
Absolutely.
And the games are in a different color box and like all those kind of things. It's like they're trying to differentiate it.
But most people, I mean, we joke about like the man at the store said this is the one you wanted.
And when you think about how many people bought a Wii, like just the sheer amount, the bucket loads of people who bought one, that it's like, of course there's going to be a contingent of people, a sizable contingent of people that actually thought that thing about the gamepad just being a thing you buy to add on to your Wii.
I mean, I used to work in a game store, right? Like the joke about a certain demographic of people using the word Nintendo to just be the noun for video game console is accurate, right? Like not as common as I'm sure it was, but it's like I'm looking for, I want to buy my grandson a Nintendo. Oh, okay, which one? The PlayStation.
Yeah.
Right? It's like
cool.
Yeah.
That was the way it's kind of been for a long time.
The Wii U, I think the name and the lack of marketing, I think, because they didn't really make it obvious from like the poster, from the official like posters and images and stuff, that's like, yo, this is a different thing.
Yeah. And other than just being like having somebody just throw their Wii in the trash and then putting a Wii U in, it's kind of hard to say like this replaces your old console. Like it's hard to get that across.
Well, now I guess I can plug the thing in and play some Metroid Prime, not Prime, Metroid and Prime, but Metroid Fusion.
Yeah.
In
or
advance
Zero
of
Mission.
Dread. Doesn't Dread come out like really soon?
In October, I think it is.
Dang.
Yeah.
Cool.
Also, I wasn't arguing with Heather when I said that this is a bad console.
I didn't
or whatever.
assume that you were.
She doesn't think it's a bad console either. I was just more like, it frustrates me when people say that something is a bad console. Any console is a bad console, because I'm like, what's your criteria for that? Because like there's all sorts of consoles you could say this was a bad console, but I'm like, but what's the criteria? I want to know how you're evaluating that, because I could probably poke a lot of goddamn holes in your arguments.
I would say, generally speaking, it's based largely on the games library.
Yeah.
I think the PlayStation 2 was a perfectly fine console.
Yeah.
But actually, it was an excellent console because it had a massive and deep game library.
Yeah, of good games.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because the Wii had a lot of games too.
Boy, did it.
But, yeah.
Boy, did it.
Whew.
Remember Remember the Zombie
U?
Zombie U.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess that was
Great
a Wii U
idea,
game.
but that was a launch game for the Wii, wasn't it? No, it was a Wii U game. That's
U
right,
game.
Zombie U.
But there was definitely a light gun thing. Anyway. The Wii U. Oh, store.loadingreadyrun.com.
Yes.
A reminder. I wore the shirt today.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's all.